welcome to Salmon's Pizzeria, your slice of Scottish football, where we are back for a Scottish Championship roundup. We were meant to be back for the Scottish Cup, but it would have been just me, and I am not covering 20 games by myself. Thankfully, this time there's only 5 games to cover, and I'm also not by myself, as we have Kieran Ashton. How are you, Kieran?
I'm alright, good to be back. It's discussing a Thistle one. Can he beat it? Obviously, unfortunately, Callum's not doing the same. He's not discussing a Raith one. But it's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad that you got to enjoy your weekend. So first off, we might as well get it out of the way. Falkirk 3, Raith Rovers 0. I am so lucky that I was not at this game because I was busy doing uni stuff. None of my mates were able to go anyway, so I was just like, yeah, sure, fine, it's a free hit. I don't have to go to Grangemouth. That's fine by me. As much and it's like I had very little motivation to do this uni assignment, but I was like, you know what? I'll just stick on the Reef game on the audio, just in the background, and why? Why did I bother? It was
We've all been there. We've all been there.
yeah, it was bad. It was really, really bad.
Yeah, going by the
It,
highlights, it was honestly one way traffic for Falkirk, to be honest. They were 1-0 up in the first half. Well, aye, Falkirk were 1-0 up in the first half, but it could have been at least 3 or 4. It's not looking good at all. And the thing is, but I'll let Callum go back on to discussing and drowning his sorrows or whatever. But like it's annoyed me now that we with how poor Raith are, like we've still yet to beat us in the league. Um,
Thank you
but
for making my day.
yeah, I know that you've got that at least. But aye, no, it's really not looking good at all. But aye, that's what it is, I suppose.
It just starts off terribly for Reef. You know, it's ball comes across goal for Aguiman 5 minutes in, and it's at that point it's like I hadn't even got the thing up, and I'd seen the notification coming in, and it's like, oh no, it's going to be one of those, isn't it? And it
Surely,
absolutely
as
was
soon
one of
as
those.
surely, as soon as you see that, you go, nah,
Nah.
I'm done. Just don't bother listening to it.
I don't think you've realised this, but I hate myself. So, so yeah, and it's like that. For it's like yeah, it's a good goal from Falkirk, but it's just sort of like there's definitely questions about the defending in it. And the
Yeah,
first half just went from bad to worse because we had, I think it was about the 20th minute, Scott Brown came off injured, and then in the 25th minute, Fankati Dabo came off injured, and at that point,
Christ.
I was just like, I am done with this game already. Can we forfeit so that this could just be over? I just don't bother. There's no point. No coming back from that. But yeah, first half was all Falkirk. Second half, all Falkirk. Aguiman scoring from 25 yards out. It was a good hit. It was a good
Yeah,
hit. It got a lot of power to keep it low as well, right into the bottom right corner. And Dabrowski is he's tall, but he can get
yeah,
down well, and to do that to him is got to put your hands up and say fair play. And
yeah.
then
I think that's Aguiman in a bit of form now. I think that's his third goal in 2 games or something.
I was going to say he scored
Yeah,
against. He did score against East Cup, right? I should have it.
yeah,
Yep, he did at the
yeah.
close 20th minute.
3 goals in 2 games for him now. He's a player that's anytime I've seen him, he's really impressed me. We've not really known how to deal with him. The first time I seen him, we played in the League Cup um, last season, start of last season, and he bossed us. Like it's the typical striker Thistle have always struggled against. Your Kelvin Zolas, your Amido Baldes, your Chris Boyd. Just big physical strikers. Nubly as well. There's another one, Joel Nubly. It's just like a player like that we've always struggled against, and he's impressed me. And I know a lot of Falkirk fans are kind of 50-50 on him, but he's a battering ram. Uche is another one for Hearts. We played him a couple of seasons ago. And it's just strikers that Thistle have always historically struggled against, and they've always done well against us. So for some reason, I don't know why, but it always happens. And Alfie Agyeman's been one of their players, and I remember the game against Celtic as well. Watching that, he really impressed there as well. So I'm not surprised he's kind of got that form. He's in that form at the moment, but aye, it did not look good for Raith at all.
No, and it didn't get much better when Kieran
Yeah.
Adams got ahead of 66 minute. I'm watching the
Yeah.
highlights now. It's like a weird stramash sort of thing that just the ball just fell
it
into
was
the
a
net.
really poor goal to lose. Poor goal to lose.
It very much summed up the day, didn't it? It was one of those where you just see it as like, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it's another win for Falkirk. It's like, on the one hand, I'm thinking, how on earth did we beat them at Starks? Because my God, it's like I watched them against East Kilbride. I watched the full game, and you're just thinking, yeah. And it's like watching the highlights doing the show as well. It's just a case of, I know I've said on this show before, but especially earlier on in the season, where it's just like, this is John McGlynn. I know him well not personally, but it's like I've watched his sides, and it's a case of, you get to about the halfway point, and it starts to like drop off or whatever, and it's like, I'm still hoping for it, but I'm not entirely convinced this Falkirk team is this is a good team. This team's winning the league.
Yeah,
I'm hoping I've jinxed it. I'm really hoping I've jinxed it, but this Falkirk team is going to win the league.
I've been like saying to my friend and that, and like holding out hope that they have a bottle. They still have a bottle in them, because it is Falkirk we're talking about. But I don't see signs of that as of yet. I mean, again, like you would have thought, like the game against Shrewsbury they lost, that would be the blip, and that'd be them starting to come to crashing back down to reality. And they've not. They've still not. Don't think they've lost a game since. So
they lost to Livingston a couple of weeks back away from
Livingston,
home.
That was it. But again, other than that, I really don't. I don't see a bottle in them as of yet. But again, as we say, I say this every week though on here, that there's still a lot of football to get played. I think that's just me talking more hopefully than anything else. I've still got the open top bus. I've not quite bought it. It's in the basket still. But I don't know. I think they are looking good, and that I think they're the only real team, to be honest, that I've seen personally, in the flesh, that have really impressed me, to be honest. So I mean, for them, from a Falkirk's point of view, long may it continue. You would like to think, but it's they're starting to gain a bit of gain a bit of a gap on the league now. So you're not what you're wanting them somehow to slip, but I just don't see it as of yet, to be honest.
Yeah, you're hoping for the similar situation from
the
when
wheels to
you
start
won
coming
League
off.
One, where Falkirk went off top of the league, and then by the end of the season they finished fifth. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah, I want that Falkirk. I want that Falkirk again, but they've not got Connor Salmon up top. You know what I mean? They've got a decent striker now, so they've got a decent squad. So aye, that Kieran Adams seems a right player. Even Ross as well. That they've got a really good core in their squad. Aye, it's not looking good for us, but for I know a few Falkirk fans and that as well, and they've been through the ringer the past couple of years. You kind of want to feel happy for them, but at the same time you're like, no, because I wish it was us. And especially after you coming off the back of a 3-0 defeat from Falkirk, you're like,
absolutely,
no, fuck them. But aye, you just got to take this one on the chin, you know what I mean? But when you're performing like that, like I was watching the highlights as well, that your only real chance, your first only real chance came when you were 2-0 down. That's poor. And they looked at the,
Kai Montague had our first shot on target, and it was like the 75th minute or something like that. I remember just hearing that, and I was like, my God, we've had a chance.
And again, after they scored the third, they could have had more as well. I think that whole Garther keeper, their keeper Hogarth didn't he had fuck all to do apart from a couple of shots towards the end. You know what I mean? When they're already when you're already 2 or 3 nil down. You know what I mean? So you're like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, I've just had a look at the stats there. In the entire game, we've had 2 shots and 1 on target.
Fucking
Although
hell.
it is saying here, like Kai Montague scored an own goal, he didn't. He did not. It didn't look like that on the highlights. To be fair, I've got
Yeah.
no idea what happened in that goal, but
I was the same as well. That
look, the
proper.
highlights said Keelan Adams. I'm giving
Yeah.
it to him.
Yeah. It's probably it's, again, as I said, it's a proper scrappy goal to concede, but I think the defence has got to deal with that a lot better. You can't be conceding goals like that at this stage of the season. We shouldn't be conceding goals like that, regardless. But yeah, it's kind of troubling signs. But I think you're kind of safe by the fact that the teams at the bottom are kind of a lot more poorer than you. But
Worse somehow.
yeah, worse. But it's not looking good.
No, absolutely not. Anyway, moving on because I do not want to talk about this anymore. We have to go across the fourth, and oh god, Dunfermline beat Accies 3-2. Wow, I'm having such a good weekend, aren't I? Now this game is like, again, just watching the highlights. This game appeared to be just absolute cinema. It was incredible to watch the highlights because it was genuinely, the game finished 3-2. It could have been 3-2 at half time. And it could have been like so much more.
Yeah,
It was ridiculous. It was such an end to end game, and there was so many really good chances. And it's like I've said before about how it was like with Aki's, it's just like they struggle, but then it's like Ollie Shaw will appear, or like someone will disappear, and it'll be
yeah.
like bang, 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 and then it's like with Dunfermline,
Mm-hmm.
it's like they seem to create like 1,000 chances and just not hit the
Yeah.
back of the net, and that seemed to be what was happening with this first half. Where it's like you're just watching it, it's like how has this first half finished 0-0? But
No, yeah, it's nuts.
second half was where it all came together for both teams up front anyway. Matty Todd with a free kick from in the 56th minute, about 30 yards out on the
Yeah,
left hand side, Holbeef Road side. And it's like he's hit like it's one of those crosses where it is perfect
yeah,
because it's one where it's like it's bouncing on the edge of the 6 yard box and it's going to go into the corner if everyone messes it,
mm-hmm.
or if someone gets a head on it, it's probably going to be a goal.
Yeah.
It's a perfect delivery. And
Oh yeah.
God, I can't believe the fact I'm praising Matty Todd.
What has happened to you?
Hell. But yeah, it was really good from him. Aki's managed to get an equaliser, Sean McGinty getting a header from a free kick, which is what I presume
Sean
Matty Todd was
McGinty.
trying to do. It was basically the same sort of thing
Yeah.
where it was like the same sort of cross came in and McGinty manages to get a head on it, puts that into the back of the net. And then Dunfermline have a counter attack not even 10 minutes later. Dapo Mabude, he manages to slide Cooper through, who manages to slot home Camley first time. Very
Yeah.
nice finish, right into the bottom corner. And then there was something happened at a corner. It's gone down as Aaron Comrie scoring from a corner from, again, delivered by Matty Todd. But
Yeah.
I'm looking at it, it's like, where does he touch it? It looks like it was a direct corner.
Yeah. There's no way in hell he touched that.
And then there's Ollie Shaw managed to score a penalty in the 94th minute, but it was too little, too late for Aki's. And to be fair, it's like this game, like I say, it could have been 6-4. It could have been that scoreline for either team. It was just mental.
Yeah. I know. Again, I think it was a massive game. As you said, it was like first half how that finished 0-0 is beyond me, to be honest. Probably one of the better games in the championship this season, I would say, in terms of entertainment, you could say, I suppose, for a neutral, certainly. But I think it's a huge win for Dunfermline that at the weekend. Hopefully, from a Dunfermline's point of view, they can kind of drag themselves back up, and drag themselves out of the mess they're in at the moment, and push up the table. But again, I thought Aki's done really well to get back into the game. And you'd be annoyed as an Aki's fan to go away from home and score 2 goals, but come away with nothing. But in the end, I think Dunfermline were kind of the especially with their first half performance, are probably deserved winners overall.
You're not going to get that sort of word out of my mouth.
Yeah,
Not happening.
By the end of the season, we'll try. I mean, you praised Matty Todd there, Callum, so that's close enough.
Exactly, that's as much praise as you're getting.
Yeah, you're just going silent.
No, it's like, there's no.
Yeah.
Moving up the table, we have Partick Thistle beating A United 1-0. Now, first of all, I have no notes for this game because Partick Thistle seem to be the only team in the SPFL who do not put their match highlights on YouTube. They are on JagZone, which you have to pay for. And
Yeah.
it's like every other club. It's like this is the first time that this has happened so far this season because every other home game that Thistle have had, the away team have been the ones supplying the highlights, and I think I've mentioned this before in like the group chat at least. But yeah, it's just like with this one, it's like, why is there no highlights for this? And it's like Air didn't bring anything up, evidently, because I couldn't find anything on their YouTube. And again, with Thistle, it was just like the game day stuff, which I mean, to be fair, nothing against the game day stuff, but I just want match highlights.
Yeah.
I just want the match highlights. I want to be able to analyse what happened.
I know.
Kieran, take this away.
Yeah. So just a bit of kind of background. It's on the highlights are behind a paywall, which I mean we've had JagZone for years, but it's like every other team, and I think not even in the league, like every other team in the SPFL have got their highlights on YouTube for free. They've got them for free on it's free to view, and it's it really shouldn't be the case at all, to be honest. But that when we were in the top flight, we didn't have that problem because the SPFL had their highlights on YouTube, so you could just kind of watch it there. But ever since we get relegated, it's just been you've had to your JagZone to watch it, and I've kind of suffered with that because I never had it when it first came out, JagZone. But yeah, it's shocking, to be honest. But anyway, let's go on to discuss the game, and I think there's kind of plenty to talk about, to be honest. Especially with Scott Brown's post-match comments, we'll kind of go into that. But I thought watching the highlights back, I wasn't there because I was working, so I had to deal with just kind of talking to people on Twitter and watching highlights back and etc. etc. And the first half, I thought kind of both teams they did have their chances, like kind of balls across the face of the box, whatever. But like I think both teams just kind of lacked any real cutting edge. I thought it was very cagey and kind of scrappy. The only kind of highlight or point worth noting was in the 48th minute. Masonda absolutely poleaxed Macbeth, took him out the game. And Scott Brown's talking about the referee being against him, but the fact they weren't down to 10, they weren't down to 10 men before that it's absolutely shocking. Karate kicks him. It's something that I would see on karate, that a move that I would see on the Karate Kid movie. It's shocking. Like the thing that I
very bitter man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think he was doing the same thing when we beat them 2-0 on telly a couple of weeks back, where he spent like half his post-match thing complaining about the referee. Just like you're just saying that because you lost.
Yeah.
I say that when we win.
Yeah. You don't play for Celtic now, mate. You're not getting the decisions for you. You know what I mean? But I know, I'm sorry.
Don't tell him that.
That sounded a bit bitter in me one as well, but it is what it is.
We're all bitter.
Yeah, Miles Roberts was called into action after a shot for us, or Roos. It's Roos, not Ross. They saved it pretty well in the 54th minute. Thistle again had their chances, but then Roos brought down Fitzpatrick with a very cynical tackle when he was on the run. And again, that's the other one you could be saying that you could have been kind of sent off for that. But again, I think it was a cynical challenge, so I can see why he's kind of given the booking. But the JagZone commentary team were certainly asking why that wasn't a red card. But yeah, and then the penalty decision, I felt was correct. The guy had a hand on Lee Ashcroft, had a hold of him. But when I saw it at first, like, it looked soft. But then there's people that were like sitting in the Jackie Osman stand that kind of seen it, and they were like, "Yeah, it was a penalty all day long." But again, I can see why Ayr fans are quite annoyed, and Scott Brown as well, because like at first, like when I seen it, I was like, "What is he actually giving here?" But it's kind of messy. But it was, I think, the correct decision in the end was made. And then Kyle Turner slots it into the back of the net well, sends the Ayr keeper the wrong way. Quite late on, I think this was like his 82nd minute or something. He scored in the penalty. He scored the penalty. And then Ayr had a goal disallowed like 4 minutes after. And Scott Brown again was angry at that, and George Oakley was certainly annoyed at it as well. But like O'Reilly gets taken out, like gets wiped out in the box, and the referee literally blows the whistle before Oakley even touches the ball, before Oakley volleys it into the net to equalise. And he's going, but ball hit the net, and then the referee blew it, and we're like, no, that did not happen. But it was great that in the result. It was great to close the gap on Ayr and see the sieve on the internet after beating them with the decisions. But yeah, see, they had I think 7 or 8 bookings. When your team's getting booked 7 or 8 times in a game, that's enough to that's enough to tell you they're like they've got Scott Brown in charge of them. They're a bunch of hatchet men. But again, I think you can see why Ayr fans are raging. I can kind of sympathise with them to an extent. The penalty did look soft, did look really soft, but you can see them giving. But it was good to close the gap on them on Saturday, and kind of sets us up nicely for the game against Livingston Friday night, which I think again will be a tough game. It'll be. I hope it's not a game that gets football stopped. It's on BBC, so it's our first appearance on BBC this season. So I'm either hoping we win or it's a good game at least. But it was absolutely nuts. Like coming back on Twitter and seeing the reaction to Scott Brown's post-match comments and all that. It's quite funny.
I was going to say, I think I'd seen someone put up a couple of clips on Twitter of some of the decisions, including the penalty one.
Yeah.
I'm looking at them, and it's just like the penalty, like you say, I thought to myself, it's a bit soft, but it is like you have seen those given, and then it's like some of the ones where it's like Ayr players got bookings or didn't get like a foul or whatever.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, that's a championship.
Yeah.
But like you say, it's like if you've got like 7 or 8 bookings or however many it was, I'll actually hold on that. It might come up at 5 yellow cards for 14 fouls. I mean, you're just sort of asking for it at that point.
And I'm not surprised with a manager. Like, I feel like I'm, taking shots at Scott Brown. I don't want him to come to my house and kill me or something like that. But like that was his game. Like for like the majority of his career, being a hard man, and then when people are like decisions are not going his way, or like when the other teams are kind of being physical with him, with his side and that, he doesn't like it, and you're like, what the hell, man? Doesn't make sense, but is what it is.
It is what it is, and as you say, closing the gap on Ayr now. It's now only 2 points between the two years.
Yeah.
Another team closing the gap on Ayr is Queen's Park. They managed to beat bottom of the table Airdrie 2-0, and this again, we're just repeating ourselves at this point. Airdrie are fucked.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah, I've got my notes here. I've got my notes here.
Yeah. On Sky Sports, man, it's just like you get like the result, and it'll like come up with a little bit in red where it just says team has been relegated or whatever, and it's like we get to and it's like they'll update the table and it'll just have the red bar going across it. Just have that now. There is no saving this team.
Yeah. 10 points adrift now, bottom of the table. Like,
it's over for them. And
yeah,
it's like the first goal was Dom Thomas gets
mm-hmm.
a rebound after the keeper parries, 14th minute, and Louis Longridge with really nice finish
Yeah,
for the second one, managing to lob the keeper first. I think it was first time or either his first or second touch, managing to lob the keeper perfectly weighted. It's like with the angle, it fell like right under the
mm-hmm.
crossbar.
Yeah,
Very nice, and it was just all Queens Park. It genuinely could have been like
yeah,
4 or 5-0 that game.
yeah.
Just
Even the first goal, the first goal they conceded was an utter gift for the defender. Like no, and like when you're conceding goals like that, man, and you're wondering, no, why the fuck are we in the relegation spot, 10 points adrift, because you're giving goals like that away. You know what I mean? Like, week in week out, it's I mean, as a Thistle fan, I want to say I fear for them. I don't. I really don't.
no, no,
I
it's no
want them.
sympathy from any of us.
Yeah, yeah, but
Bye bye.
yeah. Sorry there, Aaron. You might be watching tonight, but no, it's not looking good for them at all.
He's not been on for a while.
Uh, hopefully, he still watches. um,
I don't want to come on.
yeah, but no, it's not really not looking good for them. And I thought they'd be up there again, like carrying on for last season. But I think that just shows that they were kind of overachieving and punching up. You know what I mean? When they come back up, but this season they have not looked good at all. And to be honest, I watched the highlights and I did think Airdrie did have their chances to equalise, but I after Queens Park setting, there's just no coming back to that. And it was all Queens Park, one way traffic, to be honest, and it kind of shows you a difference in quality. And when you look at the table, you know what I mean. There's a reason Queens Park are up there, and there's a reason Airdrie are right down the bottom.
It was just like the most. It's like you were saying. It's like compared to last season, this is like a ridiculous drop off. Like this is worse than that Arbroath drop off.
Oh yeah,
Because mine, it's like they won the league, and then it's like the next season they were in a relegation battle, and they stayed up on the final day.
yeah,
This is worse than that.
yeah,
It's like they're not doing what Arbroath did with staying up on the final day. They're going to be relegated by March at this point. It's just
yeah.
horrific, and it was the most common complaint I've seen, and it's something that I did note where it was they lost a lot of their team from last season, and they brought a lot of players in. And
Yeah.
at the time, I was just like, this lot are not as good as
Mhm.
what they had last season. So
Yeah.
I reckon they'll probably be like mid-table, maybe still in the fight for playoff
Yeah.
spot. But they're not even a fight for a relegation playoff spot. It's just like they're so far gone. And it's like the complaint has been the fact, the most common one has been about how it seemed that whoever is making the signings, I'm not sure if I think they've got like a director of football or something, and about how it seemed to be playing Football Manager with just signing a bunch of youngsters, where it's like everyone was like under the age of 23, and because it's like they've got like I swear like the one experienced player they've got is Reece McCabe, and it's just
What about
not
Frizzle as well?
huh.
Adam Frizzle.
Oh, aye, Frizzell, aye, him as well. But like you say, it's like they
Yeah.
don't have the experience or whatever. It's like, I want to
Yeah.
have a look and see work out
Mhm.
what the average age of their squad is, because they must have the youngest squad
Yeah, it's got to
in
be.
this division for those sort of complaints, and it's almost telling where
Yeah.
it's like they seem to like go a goal down, go 2 goals down, and it's
Mhm.
just no, that's it, it's over.
Yeah. Just to kind of thing me as well, and you've got to remember as well, they were very lucky not to take our playoff game at extra time. They nearly so we drew with them 2-2 at Airdrie, and then took it back to Firhill, and they had their chances to uh, take us to extra time, and like that is like the drop off from that to, because they beat us twice at Airdrie, and we beat them twice at Firhill. But even then, like the drop off from then to now is nuts. It's nuts. Sorry, we lost to Airdrie and we drew with them. We lost to Airdrie once and drew with them at Airdrie as well. So, But again, like that's their drop off of there. Like even getting in the playoffs last season is a massive achievement for them. And they were, again, as you said, it could have been. It was we were very close to getting over the line, but we got over the line. But aye, it's really not looking good at all for them.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking through the.
You're looking at the average age.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Of
I'm
the
looking through
squad.
the Edgery squad, and yeah, you've got Reece McKeever is 32, and he appears. Oh no, Aaron Taylor Sinclair, he's 33. Craig
Completely
Watson,
forgot about him.
29. David
I
Harton,
love
who I
Aaron
think is
Taylor Sinclair
23.
as well.
Yeah,
Don't love
no,
him in the
a
injury talk, but
lot
I
of
love him
players
in
under
it.
25. A lot of players under the age of
Yeah,
25.
yeah. They've got, because they brought that young striker from the Northern Irish League as well. Is it Wilson or something his name is?
Is
Yeah,
it Barry Wilson? I think his name is.
yeah.
I think that's his name, but it's like, he's a weird one. It's like he was banging them in the League Cup, and then
Yeah.
we saw the League Cup, and then it was just like, okay, Edgery seem to be doing fine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they beat us. It's like, okay, they weren't great, but I mean, this is Raith against Edgery. That happens, and then it's like they've not won since.
Yeah.
It's like they're
Yeah,
14 league games without a win.
I saw that
I
stat
can't
earlier
remember
on.
what the results were in the Challenge Cup, but I know they're definitely
Yeah.
out of it. They got knocked out by East Kilbride, who they
Mm-hmm.
beat in the League Cup, like 7-8-0, something daft like that. And in the Scottish Cup, they beat Dundee North End 1-0, which, when you consider it's a Tier 6 side against a Championship side, and we had Jenna, who does the Premiership roundup sometimes, she was at the game, and they were saying it's like Dundee North End could have won that, and it's like, that is a Tier 6 side. It's like, that should not be what is happening when you're.
No.
But it's just, yeah, it's just like, to be fair to them, they've done better than Brecon. Congrats on passing that incredibly low bar.
At least there's that. But yeah, we've got them in I think we've got them in the 21st of December, so it's in 2 weeks, in a week's time. So we play Livy away, and then I think it's Airdrie away after that. Remember, we've got that's got to be 3 points on the board, man. And they are not looking good at all. I think they're kind of the whipping boys for this season. Even though we did beat them in the league, but we only kind of narrowly beat them 2-1. Yeah, that's teams that that's teams that are in that league. They've got to be looking at them going, no, we've got to beat them. You know what I mean? We've got to hammer them, because they're really poor, and I don't see a way out for them at the moment, to be honest.
Nah, it's just, yeah. like you say, it's just like, I think every single team is looking at the fixture list, and it's like, oh, we've got Edgery, that's 3 points.
Don't want to jinx it, because then
I don't remember the last time there was a team like that. Maybe Arbroath towards the end of last season, especially in the second half, apart from that game that happened at Gayfield. We don't talk about that. But yeah, it's just, it's over, Edgery.
Yeah.
It's just so over for them.
Thanks for the memories, but it's time to say goodbye. But yeah, again, I think it's like every week we come on here, or every time I'm on here, at least we're just repeating the same things.
It's just Airdrie are fucked. We might as well just, like, next week it'll be like, okay, Airdrie have lost 3-0, they're fucked. Anyway, next game.
Yeah, next game. But aye, who have they got next? Do you
know? They've got Morton.
Jesus Christ!
Oh fuck! I'm gonna have to cover that. That's good. That's a game that's gonna stop football.
Oh yeah.
Well, that is, considering football didn't get stopped after the next game, which was Morton 0, Livingston 0. This game happened.
Moving on.
Genuinely, like, the highlights were 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, how they managed to scrape 3.5 minutes out of that. What I've got here is basically Livingston looked like a team to score or win more than anything, but it was a horrible game of football. Loie Smith could have won it at the end. That was literally
there was a 1-on-1.
One-on-one
at the end, and just before that, there was a 1-on-1 for Morton as well. But
Yeah.
it's like we're just looking. I've just brought the stats up here because I
Yeah.
remember seeing something about how like absolutely dreadful it was. Morton had 2 shots and none on target. Livingston had 6 shots and none on target.
Just an awful, awful game of football.
Genuinely, just wow.
I remember we played Morton in the Capo midweek a couple of seasons ago. We were still under McCall, and it was like the worst. It was a worst night of football. It was like pissing down. It was horrendous, like conditions and that whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, why don't we, go through the training? Do it? You know what I mean? We, Tuesday day off, whatever, Tuesday off from college or whatever. So I was like, why not? Why not go through? Awful. Honestly, I wish I just stayed in the house. Like there were so many people like normally go to football games that were like, nah, I'm just going to leave this out. I wish I'd done the same. I took my friend to his, I think it must have been his second Thistle away game. It was just me and him because none of my other friends could be bothered going. So I went with him, and it was 0-0, and it was generally the worst game of football ever. It was awful. But I think that Morton Levy game topped that. To be honest, it was brutal. Not it was. You just get games like that. You're like, why? Like, why was that allowed to happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like it's bad when even we managed to get a shot on target this week. We got a shot on target and we were pissed. What happened here?
Yeah. I don't think I want to know what happened there. To be honest.
Evidently, nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing happened.
And it was the same
hopefully
as
things will happen next week.
yeah, it was the same as the Livy Morton game. I think the start of the season as well. That was 0-0. That finished 0-0 when Morton went to Livingston. I'm pretty sure. Because I think I seen a Morton fan. I think they tweeted the full time result, and it was like, I think we should both just agree to never play football again.
Yeah,
I'm
if
pretty
there's
sure.
anything that's going to guarantee just like a pish poor game of football, it's going to
Yeah,
be something that involves Greenock Morton.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
It like nothing. I would say nothing against their fans, but Aiden's won, and but yeah,
I've got quite a few things against Greenock Morton, to be honest, but
I think we all do, and it's
yeah, I think everybody does. It's just one of the
everybody
teams
does,
that like.
but it's just like it's just annoyance. It's just like it doesn't get. Oh fuck, we got Morton.
And they always start off the season poorly, and you're like, they always normally
Yeah, it was like
start
last
this.
season. They were awful for like the first quarter, and then it's like the second
Yeah,
and third they just flew, and then like they dropped away
yeah,
again at the
they
end. But
just
it's like
they
they've
pulled
not even done
results.
that this season.
Yeah,
Aside from playing against us, where Stupirevic just becomes God. I've not that like it's just not really been much to talk about with Morton. They just sort of exist in this anti-football world.
and can I tell you something as well? I am not looking forward to going there and hug my knee. 3 o'clock kick off on a Tuesday night. On a Tuesday afternoon. Sorry.
The reasoning. I can't believe the reasoning of just like, oh yeah, we'll get neutrals going. It's just like you realise what team this is. This is Greenock Morton. You unless like the neutrals involved are like Tony Pulis and Neil Warnock and whatnot. There's like Sean Dyche. This is finding Tony Mowbray. There's like anyone who you can think of who is just like pure Brexit mold. It's like who fell off the park Route One. This like complete like anti-football sort of mantra. Like
Sam
those
Allardyce.
enjoys straight to. They're definitely gonna want to watch Greenock Morton against Partick Thistle on the Tuesday, and it's a 3 p.m. kickoff as well.
Yeah.
So if people are working, they're not going to be able to go. And even
it's
then,
not,
it's like if you were going to go after work, then
yeah.
you're going to go out and get peshed because let's face it, is I mean Hogmanay and Greenock. Is that really how you want to spend it?
Absolutely no. Absolutely not. I think I'd much rather spend Hogmanay in Damascus, to be honest, rather than Hogmanay in Greenock.
Higher standard of living.
Yeah, exactly. But it's honestly insane, man.
We depose one terrorist, can we depose another and do game race?
I wonder what brand of terrorism is worse. Morton, probably Emery Ball, to be honest. But it's that just screams like either like 1-0 Morton or like the worst 0-0 game I've ever fucking seen. It's like I can't like both of us have got a free weekend because
In
we're
January
both out
because
there.
they're both out of
We're
the cup.
both yeah,
The
we're
only
both
teams in the championship, not in the cup.
yeah. We've got a free weekend in January, and they're like, nah, have it in Hogmanay because it's going to be bouncing with neutrals. Ugh,
No,
it's insane, man. Uh,
I just don't get it. It's genuine. It's like, why would you not have that in the January Saturday where you don't have like
yeah,
cup games to deal with? It's just baffling.
it's
Really.
insane. It's nuts.
But yeah, so next week's fixtures, where hopefully I don't have to deal with a game where genuinely nothing happened. It's like my notes are genuinely just 1 point saying this game happened. I don't think I've ever had a game. I think it's like I've probably had games where I've maybe had like 2 or 3 notes. I think it was like Morton against Dunfermline where I said, yeah, like 3 things happened. This is somehow worse. I was genuinely tempted to just leave it blank.
Yeah, just mention it and move on. Just be like, yep,
Yeah,
Morton
I
Livy
was tempted to just
happened.
write the scoreline and just put the scoreline underneath, just
Yeah,
being there's like line there.
yeah,
That's the end of that bit. So
that's all,
next,
folks.
so yeah, next week Livingston are back in action. They are at home against Partick Thistle. That game is on BBC Scotland. We have Ayr United against Falkirk. Falkirk will be looking to extend their or maintain their 8 point
Yeah,
gap, depending on what happens. Raith are at home to Dunfermline. I swear to God, Rovers, please turn up. Please, I do not want to cover another derby defeat on this. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know. I mean, like, I've got a banana costume. Fucking, if that was, I don't have anything black and white to like be like, oh, if we lose, I'll put on that. Because let's face it, why would I have that? Okay, if we lose, I'll put on the banana costume.
no,
There we go.
come on,
Uh,
Dunfermline.
please no, no. Um, we also have Hamilton Accies out home to Queens Park, and in a game that will probably, if it's like if Morton against Livingston can't get football stopped, then surely this one can't get football
Oh
stopped.
yeah.
It's Adrian against Greenock Morton. But yeah, it's just like I should probably point out with the table. The league is very much split into four now,
Mm-hmm.
and whereas like you've got Falkirk, they're 8 points clear at the top ahead of Livingston. Granted, Livingston have a game in hand, but then you got Livingston, Ayr, Thistle, Queens Park. There's 5 points between those four,
Mm-hmm.
so it's
Fair,
very much a
still,
battle in the
yeah.
playoffs. And then you've got a 10 point gap to Dunfermline, Hamilton, Rovers, and Morton, who are all on 15 points. Thank you, Greenock
That
Morton, for
is,
not being able to score goals because that keeps Rovers in eighth and not ninth. I will take that. But it is just like, wow. Like, at this stage, we played six. Well, Dunfermline have played 16, Hamilton, Rovers, and Morton have played 15 games. But it's just like, to have
it's,
four teams on 15 points at this stage is just mad.
yeah,
It's like
it's
I
insane.
know we said that this season was going to be very tight between
Mm-hmm.
everyone, but I was hoping for it to be tight in teams being good and not tight
Yeah.
in teams being just generally shite. And yeah, Esri are on 5 points after 15 games. They have scored 6 goals and conceded 29. It's like that.
That's dreadful, man.
As if living in Esri isn't bad enough.
Your team's shite as well.
We have them pulling off whatever this season is. Do we count this as worse than Brecon because Brecon was semi-pro and Edry, I think, are full time or at least hybrid? Because I mean, come
Yeah,
on, like this is just.
that's, that is a shout. That is a shout. But I would need to see what the
We need
how
to see
they
come the end of the season, but it's like the
yeah.
way it's that. It's like if it
I mean,
finishes,
it's
like,
that
if
yeah.
we're going at this rate, and it's
Mhm.
just, we might as well count them. It's like
Aye.
if they don't hit double digits, then I'm
Mhm.
putting them as like no, Brecon would probably be the worst, but this Edry team would definitely be like the biggest underperformers or like have
Oh
like the
yeah, yeah,
biggest
yeah.
drop off between
Considering
seasons. But this is
cons-
awful.
yeah, considering where they were last season as well, as I said, that they were very close to taking us to extra time at Firhill in the playoffs. They had, I think
Yeah, but they won.
they had a chance like late on that game to to win it, and I think they put it over the bar or something. I think they hit the bar actually. I hit the bar, it went over the bar. But my heart was in my mouth the entire night. That game, and like to go from that to like being like, I think Raith probably would have beat them in the semi-finals if they did, beat us. But I mean, saying that, probably not
No,
because of the
no, because Ian Murray was in charge.
yeah. So the records are maybe not. So they were probably like Dingwall bound if they beat us.
Yeah.
But like the fact that they were even in the playoffs in the first place, and not in the relegation playoffs last season, the promotion playoffs, to then be, where they are right now, it's insane. It's a massive, massive step down. It's like you'd probably think that last season that's where they'd be, but they massively overperformed this season. Now you could arguably say they're massively underperforming this season.
I'm trying to think. So, as it's at their current rate, so it's like Brecon finished with 20 goals scored and 90 conceded from 4 points, all 4 points being draws. At their current rate, Edgy is set to finish the season on 70 goals conceded, but only scoring 14.
Jesus Christ.
If we extrapolate this over, like, granted,
Yeah.
of course, Edgy have actually managed to win a game.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose it's that.
Yeah.
Well done. But I mean, it was an Ian Murray Raith Rovers side. Does it count? Does it count if you like I said when we beat Airdrie, it was like this ridiculous case of like 10 games involved of Airdrie against Raith where Ian Murray was a manager and Ian Murray won none of them, and as beforehand it's like we'd been like 18 games unbeaten or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is all for this week. Next week we will be back covering those fixtures, including Airdrie against Greenock Morton, which I absolutely cannot wait to cover. So yeah, we will definitely be back next week. So goodbye.